Traveler of the unseen paths, you, who feel the stirrings of something ancient behind your breath, pause beneath the silent sky of your own chest and ask, have I ever truly touched the breath I carry? We spend our lives reaching outward, climbing ambition's stairway, shouting dreams into the sky, demanding change in a world we do not yet govern. But the Hermetic axiom speaks differently. As within, so without, the Taoists remind us. Before moving mountains, learn to move the breath in your lungs. This is the doorway few dare open, for it leads not to the world but into the self, into the subtle chamber of the vital flame, where ki, prana, pneuma, the breath of life whispers its ancient rhythm, Tekili. In every esoteric tradition, be it Hermeticism, Qigong, Kabbalah, or Gnosis, there is agreement. Energy is not some mystical fog floating in temples. It is you, and it begins where your attention lives, in the breath, in the body, in the pulse of now. What you are about to explore is not a technique, but a return to the temple of the self, remembrance of the sacred breath you carry every moment, too often unnoticed, too rarely revered. This journey will not offer you superstition, but a science older than science. You will awaken to the silent forces shaping your thoughts, emotions, and health. You will learn to breathe as the sages did, with intention, with alignment, with power. And most importantly, you will remember the truth that has always echoed in the spine of mystics. You are not separate from energy. You are its source, its vessel, and its sculptor. So now, seeker, as the ancient masters once whispered in mountain caves and candlelit scroll rooms, sit, breathe, and prepare. Not to ascend, but to descend into the mystery of your own life force. 1. Opening the hidden gate of life. To the traveler who breathes but has not yet awakened, you have been breathing your whole life. But have you ever truly taken a breath? You traveler. Wanderer of thought, seeker of clarity in the storm of modern noise, have you not felt it? That strange and subtle pull beneath the skin, as though something ancient is stirring, rising through the base of your spine, whispering through your lungs, tapping at the door of your awareness, like a forgotten visitor? That is not imagination. That is not poetry. That is life itself knocking from within. Before us lies no ordinary knowledge. We stand now at the threshold of a secret that is not hidden by force, but simply overlooked. A door not guarded by gatekeepers, but by our own unawareness, and that door is breath. It's not the shallow gasps we've mistaken for life. It's not the mechanical rise and fall of a chest animated by habit, but true breath, conscious breath. The breath that roots itself in the center of the universe and spirals through your spine like a serpent of fire. The sages called it many names. To the Hermetics, it was the vital flame. To the Taoists, Qi, the formless wind that animates form. To the yogis, prana, the cosmic breath that moves through the nadis, sustaining the subtle body. Even modern science, once blind to the unseen, now begins to bow in humility before the breath's command over mind, heart, and biology. But this is not about names. This is about remembering what you already are. When Hermes Trismegistus wrote, "That which is below is like that which is above," he was not speaking in riddles. He was declaring a law. Master your inner world, and the outer world must obey. And breath, conscious, sacred, lived breath, is the gate to that inner dominion. Before mountains shift, before energies respond, before manifestation takes root, you must learn to sit and feel the divine movement that already lives inside your chest. The ancient masters did not begin with spells or secrets. They began in stillness, in watching the inhale without judgment, and feeling the exhale like a tide pulling away what is false. They began by listening not to gods or spirits or stars, but to the rhythm of their own breath. Why? Because the breath is the link between body and soul, between the seen and the unseen. It is the bridge, the invisible current connecting heaven and earth through the temple of your being. You are that temple. But the world has made you forget. It has made you rush, consume, chase, and panic. It has taught you to use breath as survival, when in truth, breath was meant to be sovereignty. Traveler, awaken. Close your eyes not to sleep, but to see. Feel the breath as it enters not just through your nostrils, but through every pore, every cell. Feel it gather in the lower dantian, that ancient seat of power below the navel, where Taoists store the force of vitality and where yogis kindle the fire of transformation. Notice when breath is deep, slow, sacred, your thoughts slow, your fears shrink, your emotions soften like cloth soaked in still water. This is not magic. This is design. This is you, as you were meant to function. And in this moment, this single breath, taken with full awareness, you have already begun to change. Amen. No need for temples, no need for masters. The flame has been lit. The current has been touched. And once it is touched, it remembers the way back. So now, dear seeker, breathe again. But this time, know that you are breathing. Feel the earth hold you. Feel the heavens descend through you. You are no longer asleep in your own body. The hidden gate has begun to open, and through it, the whole cosmos may come pouring in. 2. The mirror of force. Vital energy is not yours. It is you. Man does not have energy. He is energy. The lie is separation. The truth is identity. Let's break the illusion. You've been trained like most men to see energy as a commodity, thing you have more of when you sleep well, eat clean, hit the gym. You say, I'm low energy today, as if vitality were some external supplement you forgot to take. You think of it as fuel stored, burned, depleted. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You are not a machine. You are a conduit. And energy isn't your resource. It is your identity. Let that land. You are not a body that uses energy. You are energy that is using a body. And until that truth becomes visceral, not poetic, but physiological, you will never unlock your full power. Let's get clinical. What you call you is not solid. Break yourself down into atoms and you'll find space, more space than substance. Zoom further, and even the particles disappear into vibration. What remains? Frequency, resonance, force. The body is a structured field. The nervous system is an electrical network. Your emotions, electromagnetic states, your thoughts, bioelectrical impulses, your very presence, vibrational signal constantly broadcasting into space. This isn't mysticism. No, this is physics, and it doesn't care if you believe in it. The question is not whether you are energy. The question is whether you are aligned with your own frequency. You're scrambled, distorted, disconnected. Most men are disconnected not because they are weak, but because they were never taught how to listen. Okay, so let's challenge your comfort. Can you feel your own presence when you walk into a room? Can you sense your energy before you speak? Or are you just reacting, looping behavior, unconscious, asleep in motion? Because here's the consequence. If you are not aware of your energy, someone else is, and they're already using it. Women feel it, children sense it, predators read it. Every animal, human or otherwise, moves based on energetic signals. Dominance, fear, chaos, clarity. These are not mental constructs. They are vibrational truths. Which brings us to the core. Vital energy is not a passive force. It is you reflected back through your biology. It is the mirror that never lies. Eliphas Levi called it the magnetic fluid, not metaphor magnetism. And magnetism, as you know, is not emotional. It is law. It attracts or repels with precision, regardless of personality or charm. Franz Barden wrote, "Without control of this energy, man is but a leaf in the wind of the universe," meaning if you do not direct it, you will be directed by social pressure, by unconscious emotion, by whatever programming runs louder than your awareness. That should disturb you, because it means that most men, despite appearance, are not sovereign. They are vessels of borrowed thoughts, inherited fears, and reactive currents they cannot even name. You want clarity? Check your energy before you check your to-do list. You want discipline? Stabilize your field before you structure your schedule. You want power? Then become the axis, not the storm. Let's get tactile. What does this energy feel like? It's the tingling at the edge of your fingers after breath work. It's the heat behind your sternum when you speak truth without apology. It's the heaviness in your legs when you lie to yourself. It's the sharp alertness before a confrontation and the deep stillness after victory. It is not imagined. It is real. It is the language your body has always been speaking. but you were never taught to listen. So here's your initiation. Stop asking how to raise your energy. Start asking how to recognize it. Because the moment you see it not conceptually, but somatically, you will realize something that will change your life. You have never been alone. You have always been lit from within. If you just weren't looking in the mirror. That mirror, seeker, is breath, attention, presence, and what it shows you will not always be pleasant. Because the mirror reflects everything, not just strength, but shadow. But here's your edge. Do not flinch. Do not look away. Because once you face it, once you own that current as you, there is no force left that can manipulate you from the outside. You become unmoved. Not by becoming hard, but by becoming aligned. And alignment, brother, is the source of unstoppable force. Because once you are no longer at war with your own current, you are free to move mountains without force. This is the mirror of force. Now look in. 3. The breath that sees. You are the gate, the key, the current. A man who cannot master his breath cannot master his fate. Control the breath or be controlled. Let's remove the veil. If your breath is erratic, shallow, reactive, your entire system is compromised. Not just physically, psychologically, energetically, you're not grounded. You're not present. You're reacting to life from a place of fragmentation, not force. And no empire, internal or external, is built on chaos. Now let's make it personal. You want to be dangerous in the right way? You want to walk into a room and alter its gravity? Then start here. Own your breath like you would own a weapon, because it is one. Not a weapon that harms. A weapon that anchors, that centers, that creates absolute presence. Why does the elite warrior breathe before he strikes? Why does the sniper lower his pulse before the shot? Why does the monk exhale into stillness before speaking? Because breath is command. It's not mood. It's not vibe. It's command of state. But here's the hard truth. Most men breathe like prey, quick, unconscious, scattered. Not because they're weak, because they've never been taught that every shallow breath is an act of self-abandonment. Your body reads every breath like a signal, chest breathing. Your body thinks you're under attack, holding your breath. Your system floods with cortisol, hyperventilating during stress. Your decision-making collapses into impulse. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you breathed not to survive, but to command? Can you still yourself in the middle of chaos? Can you anchor your breath while someone insults you, while the deal slips away, while your plans burn? If not, then you are still externally governed. You do not have self-control. You borrow it till pressure strips it away. And this is where real men are separated from reactionary ones. Because your breath is not just a physical mechanism. It is the interface between two realms, the tangible and the intangible, the body and the mind, the conscious and the subconscious. And here's the secret most modern men have never been told. The breath sees. It is intelligence. It reflects not just your biology, but your psychology. Your breath can tell you more about your emotional truth than your thoughts ever will. Try this. The next time you're triggered, don't analyze your reaction. Just pause and feel your breath. You'll notice it's not flowing. It's trapped, held in the chest, frozen in the belly, shallow in the throat. That's not coincidence. That's revelation. Your breath reveals the parts of you that have never been touched by awareness. But somatically, you gain something no motivational speech can offer. Energetic sovereignty. This is why the breath has always been central in every initiatory tradition. Not because it's relaxing, but because it unlocks the gate between the conscious and the unconscious. The gate you must pass through if you want real power, not performance. Now understand this. You are not breathing into the body. You are breathing through it. The body is the gate. Your breath is the key. And the current that flows when both are aligned is you. That's why in the Taoist tradition they say, the breath of man links heaven and earth. It's not metaphor, it's a blueprint. Every breath, when consciously taken, aligns the vertical axis, root to crown, earth to cosmos, beast to spirit. So what does this mean practically? It means your first act of discipline is not your calendar. It's not your grind. It's not your plan. It's how you breathe when nothing goes your way. It's whether you can inhale into the belly when fear wants to crawl up your throat. It's whether you can exhale slow when rage wants to ignite your fists. It's whether you can remain when your instincts scream run. That is not weakness. That is warriorship. Let me leave you with this challenge. The next time your environment overwhelms you, do not speak, do not act, do not distract. Just stop, breathe, and stay. Stay long enough for your nervous system to catch up to your consciousness. Stay long enough to realize you were never overwhelmed by the situation. We're overwhelmed by the energy you didn't know how to hold, and breath is the way you hold it. Not once, not for a moment, but as a way of being. This is the breath that sees. And when you master it, you don't just respond to life, you direct it. 4. The Garden of Emotion. Where feeling blooms, reality is grown. Emotion is not weakness. It is directionless power. Harness it or be devoured by it. There is a lie most men have swallowed without question. That emotion is the opposite of strength. That to feel deeply is to risk collapse. That emotion is feminine, chaotic, and must be suppressed to preserve masculine order. But look closer. Not at the myth, at the result. Suppressed men, numbed men. Men who can lift weight but collapse under shame. Men who can run companies but flinch from silence. Men who rage behind closed doors and smile in public, dead behind the eyes. Why? Because they were taught to amputate the very power source that could set them free. Emotion is not noise, it is signal. It is raw electric feedback from the deeper layers of your being. What fire is to the forge, emotion is to the will. And just as fire can shape steel or destroy the smith, your emotional field can build worlds or implode your foundation. But only if you see it. So here's the confrontation. What emotions are ruling you that you pretend you've mastered? What angers have you spiritualized? What fears have you hidden behind goals? What griefs are buried in the gym, the hustle, the routine? Because here's the law. Buried emotion doesn't die, it leaks. It distorts your energy, sabotages your focus, manipulates your breath, and creates your reality. Yes, creates. We manifest not from thoughts alone, but from emotional frequency. You can visualize success all you want, but if shame is the emotional field beneath the image, you will unconsciously sabotage every win. You'll delay, avoid, distract, not because you're lazy, but because your emotional body doesn't believe it's safe to succeed. Emotion governs belief. Belief governs behavior. And behavior shapes reality. This is not a theory. This is how you are wired. In Taoist and Hermetic systems alike, each emotion correlates with a physical organ and energetic frequency. Anger sits in the liver, fear in the kidneys, grief in the lungs, anxiety in the heart. These are not metaphors. They are maps. And if you follow them, they lead to root causes, not surface fixes. Modern men go to war with symptoms, burnout, distraction, dysfunction, but never trace the emotional fault lines beneath the surface. So let me challenge you. When you wake up anxious, do you breathe deeper or scroll faster? When you feel rage in your chest, do you investigate a or bury it under reps? When disappointment arises, do you face the root expectation or numb out and man up? If you're honest, you already know. Avoidance is not control, and silence is not strength. Real power is precision, not suppressing emotion, directing it. Not denying the storm, riding it with skill. The warrior doesn't kill the fire. He learns to walk through it without burning. Here's where it gets visceral. Try sitting in stillness the next time your chest tightens. Feel it. Don't name it. Don't fix it. Just stay. Witness the vibration. Notice the heat, the texture, the contraction. Breathe into it, slowly, deliberately. You'll feel it resist. That's trauma memory. That's the nervous system fighting exposure. But if you stay, you breathe and stay, the emotion moves. Not outward, not away, but through you. When it moves, clarity follows. This is the garden of emotion. Not a place of weakness, but a place of alchemy. Every emotion is a seed. But only when you feel it fully can it germinate into awareness. And only awareness creates new behavior. New behavior equals new reality. But beware. This garden grows whatever is planted. Ignore fear, it multiplies. Suppress rage, ferments into sabotage. Deny grief, it calcifies into coldness. So plant wisely. Learn the emotional language of your body. Map its patterns. Use your breath to irrigate the hardened soil. and grow presence-rooted, not in avoidance, but in emotional sovereignty. Because here's the final truth. A man in control of his emotions is not emotionally dead. He is emotionally clear. He doesn't fear feelings, he directs them like currents. His anger becomes boundaries, his sadness becomes depth, his joy becomes resonance. He doesn't need to hold frame because he is the frame. This is your edge now. To stop hiding behind stoicism. To reclaim feeling not as indulgence but as access to power. To walk into the garden not with a mask, but with mastery. And plant a new reality with every breath that dares to feel. V, the flame that wills. Intention is the wand. Concentration, the spell. The world bends not to desire, but to directed will. Focus is the blade. Intention is the hand that wields it. Let's start with a revelation most men never hear. Desire is not power. Will is. You've been taught to chase outcomes. To want more, to hustle harder, to visualize, manifest, affirm. But here's the unspoken truth. Desire without direction is impotence. Intention without concentration is delusion. And that's where most men are trapped in the gap between wanting and creating. They mistake hunger for power, but hunger without alignment only leads to frustration. Now ask yourself, how many things do you want right now? Wealth, mastery, clarity? And how many of them remain unmanifested? Not because you lack capacity, but because your will is fragmented across 1,000 distractions? That's the cut. Not that you're incapable, but that your energy is scattered, not channeled, not focused. Because here's the law. Energy follows intention. But intention only becomes reality through concentration. Let's dissect this. Intention is not wishful thinking. It's not hoping for an outcome. It is the seed, a clear, unshakable directive from the depths of being. It is when you stop asking if and start knowing what must be done. Real intention is not born from ego. It emerges from stillness, from that subterranean clarity beneath doubt and noise. The kind of clarity that doesn't shout, it whispers. And when you hear it truly, you know, not think, not calculate. No, but even that isn't enough. Because knowing your intention means nothing if you lack the discipline to hold it. And that's where concentration enters. Concentration is the force that sustains the flame. It is the rarest masculine trait in the modern age. Not strength, not speed, but the ability to hold unwavering focus when the world demands your attention be diluted. Look around. Notifications, dopamine loops, algorithms engineered to devour your presence. Every system is designed to fragment your mind. Because a distracted man is a powerless man. He's easy to sell, to manipulate, direct. So let me ask you directly. When was the last time you focused on one task, one idea, one breath, for 30 uninterrupted minutes? If that question unsettles you, it should. Because it means you've been operating without your full voltage. Running on fragments, not force. Here's the truth, few will say aloud. The man who cannot concentrate cannot manifest. Not because he lacks intelligence, but because he cannot hold the energetic charge long enough to pierce reality. You don't shape matter with scattered thought. You shape it with penetration, laser focus. Willed awareness sustained over time. This is why every esoteric system trains concentration first. In Hermeticism, it's the root of magic. In yoga, dharana precedes dhyana focus before meditation. In martial traditions, the inner eye must stabilize before the body can strike cleanly. It's all the same principle. The world bends not to the man who wants, but to the man who concentrates with unshakable presence. Let's go deeper. When you set a true intention and concentrate on it, you begin to restructure your internal field. Your breath adjusts, your posture changes, your subconscious realigns. You become a resonance field, broadcasting clarity to the world. People feel it. Opportunities respond to it. Reality begins to conform not immediately, but inevitably. Because when you focus long enough, hard enough, you begin to bend time, not metaphorically, literally. Time dilates in deep focus. Your perception sharpens. 10 minutes becomes an hour of insight. 1 hour becomes a new foundation. This is the true magic. Concentration is not just focus, it is creation. So here is your practice, your proving ground. Take one clear intention. Strip it of ego, fantasy, fear. Make it sharp, specific, unmistakable, and then concentrate. 10 minutes a day, eyes closed. Just hold the image, the feeling, the result, without distraction. You will fail at first. Your mind will rebel. Your attention will scatter. Good, that's the training. Every second you return to focus, you reclaim power. Every distraction overcome is a rep in the gym of the will. And when you learn to hold that state longer, deeper, more calmly, you will notice something eerie. Reality begins to shift. Not because of magic, because you have become the cause, not the effect. This is not self-help. This is engineering. It's energetic architecture. The crafting of a man who not only knows what he wants, but who wills it into being through focused fire. So wield your intention like a blade, forge it in silence, hone it through discipline, and drive it forward through concentration. Because when your will burns long enough, cleanly enough, the world has no choice but to make way. This is the flame that wills. Now carry it. Vi, the reflecting gate, and now the beginning begins. There comes a moment in every man's life when mirrors no longer reflect his image but his truth. You've walked this far, not through miles, but through layers. Through illusion, through noise, through everything society placed between you and yourself. You've seen the power of breath. You've witnessed the distortion of buried emotion. You've faced the raw mechanics of will. Now comes the threshold. At the finish line. The threshold. Because all of this, every exercise, every insight, every disruption, was preparation.
How?
Preparation for the confrontation that ends all pretending. Are you willing to face what you are when there is nothing left to perform? This is the reflecting gate. It shows no fantasy, no projection, no curated identity, only the pattern you've become. And here's the part that shakes most men to their core. You are not who you believe you are. You are the accumulation of everything you have practiced consciously or unconsciously. You can read the right books, say the right words, perform the right behaviors. But if your inner architecture is built on avoidance, distraction, weakness, that is what you are radiating. That is what you are becoming. That is what life reflects back to you. Because life is not reacting to your intentions. It is reacting to your energetic signature. And if your signal is incoherent, if it's fragmented, distorted, misaligned, you will continue to manifest chaos, failure, repetition, not because the world is against you, but because you are not yet in command of your field. This is not punishment, it's precision. The universe does not care what you say you want. It listens to what you embody, what you practice in silence, what you rehearse when no one is watching. So let's cut through the last illusion. Are you a man of reaction or resonance? Are you shaping energy or absorbing noise? Are you living from essence or from the residue of trauma? Your breath knows the answer. Your body knows the answer. Your results, if you're honest, scream the answer. And that's what makes this moment terrifying, because you can no longer hide. It's not from others, but from yourself. There's no going back now. It's not after what you've touched. Not after what you felt in the silence of your own lungs. The fire you've sensed behind stillness, the energy you've realized was always waiting for your presence. You can't unknow this. You've already seen too much. So here's the final cut. If you return to the old self, it will hurt more than before, because now you'll know what you're choosing to ignore. You'll hear the falsehood in your excuses. You'll feel the betrayal in your stagnation. And worst of all, you, LLC, your own face reflected in the outcomes you once blamed on the world. But if you go forward, if you step through the gate fully, you will become untouchable. Not immune to pain, but immune to confusion. Immune to manipulation. Immune to the seduction of mediocrity, because you'll know deeply that every state, every result, every pattern begins with you. That's what sovereignty means. You are no longer seeking permission. You are issuing commands to your body, to your mind, to your reality. And here's the most haunting truth. The moment you take full responsibility, you become free. And freedom is terrifying because it means there is no one left to blame. No master, no system, no past. It's only you and the breath that moves through you. In the field, the now answers to your presence. So take one more breath. Let it be slow. Let it be deep. Let it mark the beginning. Because that's where you are now. Not at the end of a process, but at the beginning of mastery. You have crossed the gate. The reflection no longer mocks you. It beckons. And what it shows now is not who you've been, but who you are about to become. The flame is lit. The current is moving. The mirror no longer lies. You who have walked this far may now begin.